MSC Cruisecast is a Triple T production. Now, the Taste Try travel team of Beth and Chris.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Beth.
Hello. Welcome to the Cruisecast.
You're supposed to say hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
So that we got the introductions out of the way right away.
Hello, Chris.
And we can get right into it. So this isn't an hour and a half podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you a day late. I've been a little bit under the weather, but I feel like I'm coming out of it. So with that said, today's podcast is going to be all about
the seashore.
MSC Seashore.
And we will be grading this. So pay attention. Get out your number 2 pencils.
Ooh.
Remember to keep in between the lines. That's important in grading. Not only do you need to know the information, you need to be able to write it out so that I can read it when I grade it. So you're going to be a
quiz at the end?
Yeah. Well, okay. I just need to be able to read their answers. Okay.
Well, first, I know we mentioned this already, but we're very excited because this is the first ship we'll ever be on a second time. So, yeah, out of all the ships we've been on,
started our journey down the MSC rabbit hole.
It did. So
we got on that thing and we immediately went, we're not going to do this. That was our
if you guys
reaction.
remember, we had a tough start.
we're never going on MSC again. And then slowly but surely MSC, gosh darn them, they're good at it. They reeled us in.
So in March of 2022, so that was still pretty much coming out of the COVID era. We did a 7-day, and that was our very first MSC cruise. And we went to Taino Bay, San Juan, and Ocean Cay 2 days. Like we did it overnight in Ocean Cay.
Right. And we did overnight in Ocean Cay, and they had the party and the light show at the lighthouse. So we got like the ultimate Ocean Cay experience. We didn't even know because we had nothing to compare it to.
Exactly.
So we got like all of it on Ocean Cay, and we didn't know how lucky we were because I mean, some people get none of that.
I think that we could kind of tell. So in this itinerary that we had, Ocean Cay was the very last stops. So it was at the very end. And by that time, we'd kind of gotten a little bit more comfortable with MSC. We were eating a ridiculous amount of food because we loved it. The ship was about half full, maybe a little bit more than half full at that time. So we got to basically do anything we want, and the island it felt empty. And we just, And so we've been kind of like trying to follow that every time, getting those 2 days. And so when we were looking for our summer cruise, for this summer, we weren't really sure we wanted to go back on the seashore because we like to experience, obviously, a lot of different ships. But something hooked us to go back.
The overnight stay. At Ocean Cay.
There might be other ones that do, but it's the only one that we could find that did like a really cool overnight stay. So it gets there, and it's the very first stop this time. And I like that because sometimes being out in the sun and swimming just completely like wipes us out, right? So it's really nice to have it at the beginning of the trip because a lot of the private islands tend to kind of be at the very end of the trip. Chris knows this because I'm like exhausted by the end of the trip. Exactly. And then I don't have fun on them.
I'm like, let's go in the water. You're like, no, it's all right. I'm just going to sit here and have some water.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as much fun when it's at the end of the trip.
Yeah. So this itinerary really grabbed us. So what we want to do on this podcast is because we're going on this ship again, we want to talk a little bit about our pros and cons, or if you know us, our 3x3 that we did on the last time we're on the seashore. And then we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what we're excited to try again or experience again.
So when we're on ships, when we take a trip and we do a series on a ship, we always end it with something we call the 3x3, where we do 3 likes and 3 dislikes.
Yeah, it's like our way of reviewing the ship. So
that's there if people want to go watch that of the seashore already.
Yeah.
Of our first trip on the seashore. We'll have another one.
We will.
This one. But today we're going to go over like the seashore, like just the seashore, and all the things that are fun on the seashore, and all the things that we had a great time doing, and what we're looking forward to do, and stuff like that.
Now, do you want me to tell them real quickly what the pros and cons were, or do you want them to go watch the video?
Oh, no, you can recap that. Sure.
I have it.
If you want to recap it, sure.
It won't take long. So, so on our 3x3, we each had 3 positive and 3 negative. So I'll start with the negatives. So the 6 negatives that we had, where we had a really rough check-in on that cruise, that had to do with the Port Miami and all that. It was a really rough day. The showers were like coffins, right? They were like really, really tiny.
Oh no.
Yep.
Because that hasn't
Welcome
changed.
back. That will not change. There wasn't a whole lot of artwork inside the ships and around the elevators. There were fake plants everywhere. So like there's probably like 0 live plants.
You should be talking with your succulent wall behind you. Or is that alive? Is that alive?
All alive.
Did you water it today?
Yes.
Okay, good.
The food was really good, but there weren't a lot of variations. Got to remember also that the ship was about half full, so that may have had something to do with it. I'm not sure. And then the access to the decks. So there was a lot of like closed doors and roped off, and you couldn't get to some of the really nice areas on the deck. So hopefully that was maybe just some like construction stuff.
Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah.
I walked out on deck to take a picture. And they
scolded you.
And a woman came out and scolded me like, you're not supposed to be out here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on deck.
Right.
No, you're not supposed to be out here.
There were like some forbidden zones, and we never could figure out why.
I know, because you literally could go to that area if you like went out the back or the front.
Yeah.
Like doors that went out to that deck. But I went out the side door. And evidently that was a big no-no.
Right.
So yeah, I remember that. That was very strange now. You brought that back to my memory.
So it'll be interesting to see if that's still there. But I have a feeling there was probably, because it was still a fairly new ship. The Seashore had came out in late 2021, and we were on like in the spring of 2022. So really hadn't been out that long. So maybe that had something to do with that particular problem. We're going to hope so that we don't have that issue again. Some of the pros we liked, you were fascinated by every inch of that ship was covered in mirrors, and you could check yourself out. Yeah.
Check that hair. I remember that. Anywhere you sat.
There were mirrors
everywhere.
Everywhere
You were at. Just turn to your left or look above you or look below you.
Always be looking sharp.
Right.
The drink package. That was the first time we had experienced the drink package, which was unlimited and included so much and was so flexible, and we loved it.
Yep.
We absolutely loved the drink package. The diverse passengers was another real positive for us. So there was so many languages being spoken. We loved that. The theater shows were beyond anything we had ever seen before and have ever seen since. We are excited because is there a possibility of Steampunk Humpty Dumpty still on the seashore? Maybe he's in a closet or something, but is he still on the seashore?
If Steampunk Humpty Dumpty, which if you're just new to joining us, the Mystic Forest show.
Yep.
Hold on. I got a couple of the Mystic Forest show.
It was one of the theater shows. It was only shown one time. Yep.
Had the most it was the most outrageous show I've ever seen.
Absolutely was. Absolutely.
Like, you had no idea what was going on.
Nope.
Like there was a jungle, and then there was Kiss character getting married to a werewolf.
And there's like a peacock lady. It was,
and then a giant dragon.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like over in the corner, an egg dressed up steampunk style.
Yep.
So that's why we call him Steampunk Humpty Dumpty.
Little top hat. And,
like just wandered out onto the stage for absolutely no reason. He was no whatsoever.
Part of the story. He didn't interact with any characters. He didn't really leave the corner of the stage. He was just kind of like over in the back.
And he just bopped along to the music.
Yep.
Just kind of, sat there and boop, 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 to the music. And it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, we kind of equate that with kind of MSC, right? Because it's very unique. It's a little out there, but it's just unexpected and fun. So I think but the show itself also, besides Steampunk Humpty Dumpty, was just like weird and wonderful. And maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea because you can't really like follow along, and it's not like well-known songs, but it was just a lot of fun. It was unexpected fun.
It was fun, and I could spend the entire broadcast saying how much I love this, but probably people don't want to hear how much weirdness I like in stage shows. So let's get back to the Seashore and But
it'll be interesting to see. It's hard to find out what shows are currently on the ships. They don't really post those anywhere.
I know. It seems like, well, once again, for me, that would be important. I don't know how important that is to people. People probably just show up to the theater, whatever it is. They played an Eagles song. I loved it.
Right.
That was full of Anne Murray, man. I hate Anne Murray. She
was a very strange
got in front of me in line at Circle K one time. Anne Murray.
It'll be fun to see what theater shows they have. And then, of course, I think we both had this on our list, but most important, I think, is that was the first time we fell in love with Ocean Cay. So, and it has been really exciting to see how everything's been growing and the trees and all of that. So
can we just say 2 days ago it opened up again?
It did. It opened. We've been trying desperately to find information on it. And
the first ship was there 2 days ago after reopening from phase 2. And like, I guess we're the only ones in the entire world that are like really interested in Ocean Cay.
There's a ton of people.
There's not. I know there's not. But for some reason, I was on Reddit. I couldn't find anything.
There's not a whole lot of information.
Pictures.
No.
That'd be the first thing I'd do.
Yeah. There was someone who said that, this was just on Facebook, so I went to try to go through all the Facebook forums, that said that nothing changed at the Yacht Club beach. They couldn't really take those rocks out of the ocean because they were part of the coral. I don't know. But you can see there were some pictures posted, and you could see some of the new buildings that they're trying to put together. That's going to be like the Discovery Center in the center. Okay. So, but it's not complete yet. So I bet they probably just got as much as they could on the island, and then they can work on it while they're going. So
they need some time in the dock for ships to kind of bring supplies in. Probably,
So 30 days, I think, is our countdown before we are headed there to see it again. So we're definitely going to bring you as much information as we can. So those were kind of the pros and cons of the last one. So I don't know if that jogs some of your memory, but what were the places on the ship specific to the Seashore that you really enjoyed and you're excited to go to again? I have my list. I don't know if you have your list.
I didn't know you were going to ask me for a list, but I would say one is that wonderful outside space on Seashore. And I'll give you two places. One is the promenade deck that it has the infinity pool in the back of the ship, but it also extends to the outside, and there's like seating out there. You can go get a drink or coffee in the morning and sit out there. Those are great spaces for me. Yeah.
So one of those was the Brooklyn Cafe.
Yep.
That was a place that had like the TV recording. So TV studio, radio studio.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Nothing ever happened when we were on there, but they had those really comfy, like yellowish chairs. And then They had some great coffees in the morning. And then they had, if you walked right outside from there onto the deck, they had those super comfy chairs that we kind of hung out that one morning.
I think the sports bars right there too, where you can go in and out. Maybe, I don't know if you go in and out of the sports bar.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's right there.
Yeah.
There's seating all along that promenade.
Yeah.
And the back is the infinity pool area.
Right.
And it's just a wonderful, I think, space to experience a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, really nice out there.
Yeah.
One side is always shaded. Well, unless the sun is directly overhead. One side has always got a lot of shade. One side has always got a lot of sun,
right.
And there's just so much seating. And the other area that's outside that I really like was up on, I don't know what deck it was, but it was one of the top decks in the back. There was a little bar out there, and there was the Bridge of Sighs.
So, that was the Sky Bar. So it kind of was a little round bar. It was kind of tucked back behind the buffet. So as you were on the buffet deck, which so you would go to the back, and it was to the right side of the ship, if I can say that. And you go out, and there's this little bar, and they had like the fresh squeezed orange juice, and then the Bridge of Sighs was right there. So that Bridge of Sighs is that bridge that's like 16 decks high, glass, and it kind of connects the back of the ship, which is kind of neat.
It's really neat.
Yeah,
it really is. It's got the glass floor. So I suppose if you've got fear of heights, I think it falls just under my fear of heights, like over like 125 feet up to like 4,000 or something like that. I don't like that very much. Okay. Above that, it doesn't feel real. Yeah. And below that, I don't get too...
Yeah, it's not high enough to be like, oh my God.
Right. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But it's just an awesome little area because you can walk out there. It's always breezy and nice and
very
cool.
breezy. Yeah.
You could walk out there with your drink or sit up there and look out the back. You get a great view of the wake behind you.
And it's kind of like, it's not a hidden bar, but it's like not one of the most popular because it's kind of in that one back little area.
Right. You have to walk out.
You have to walk out the buffet.
Is it the buffet?
Yeah.
To get there?
Yeah.
So not a lot of people head out there. I mean, I think that people do when they're maybe thinking, I'll take my food from the buffet and I want to sit outside. So they might venture out there. But I don't think a lot of people go hang out at that bar.
Yeah.
And, I don't think it's one of the more popular bars on board. So those two are definite. I want to spend a little time on those.
Okay.
What's a place you have? Well, you just okay.
So there's another kind of like glass walkway that they have, but it's midship, and it is right by Hola Tacos. I think that Hola Tacos on Seashore,
like the main,
but it's like
atrium?
The glass walkway that kind of goes out over the ship a little bit on the outside of the ship.
Yes. Okay, gotcha.
I think the Hola Tacos on the seashore is the most beautiful. It really bright. Is. There's so many windows. It's like just super colorful. And when you think about like where Hola Tacos is on like the Meraviglia, it's kind of like in that little boardwalk. So there's no windows. Mall. Yeah. So there's like no windows or anything like that.
I think there's windows, but
there might be, but not the same. This one is just so big and bright.
This has got like 4-story windows because it's open down to a couple decks below you. So it's got like these huge windows.
And I just have such good memories of that couple times that we ate there at Hola Tacos because David, the manager, was just like sending us free margaritas. He was so nice. Exactly. So, and those margaritas were delicious. So I don't think David's going to be there. I hope he's not. I hope he's moved on to bigger and better things. But I really want to go back there because
I'm sure I just have such good memories of that.
On. Yeah.
Because he was one of the ones that I remember the most. Yeah. I mean, he was very good.
He stood out very
his job.
conveyor sushi. I don't know why.
I was going to say that.
More people do not talk about this amazing little spot. It's down like in the bottom atrium. And it is like, come on. If you somewhat like sushi, it's so fun. It really brings you like to feel like you're in Japan, because these are very common in Japan.
You're sitting at a little kind of like bar, almost. Like a stools in front of the conveyor belt, so it feels a little like you're in Japan. It's got a little cat in the background.
You're going like that, waves at you. But then then
you can see the sushi chefs right behind the counter,
making it, putting it
back
in.
there, making it in the background.
Gosh, it's fresh, and it just goes around, and whatever looks good, you just take the dish, and it's probably like by magnets that's pulling it around. So it's just like this flat metal surface that these little sushi dishes seem to like magically kind of float around. So you just pull whatever dish you want, you enjoy the sushi, and then you just get charged by the color plate. So like the higher sushi, like the nicer, fancier, will be in like different color plates, or there's the plain ones that'll be cheaper, it'll be different color plate. So you can kind of know by the color plate of how much you're spending. So I think that's such a fun idea, and I can't wait to go back.
I know. And Olo Tacos has the all you can eat all the time. And then there are certain times when the sushi has all you can eat too.
Yes.
Now, I think that it's going
to be your pretty basic sushi.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the fancy
one.
stuff.
Right.
But still, you'll sit down, and then whatever looks good as you come around, you have to be okay not eating like the super fancy ones, which I've gotten better at. I've gotten better about appreciating some of the simpler ones, as long as there's nothing weird in it, like eel or something like that.
I thought you were going to say weird, like avocado.
Well, I don't like avocado in there either, but it's not something where you can like request certain things, but you just can like do all you can eat. So somewhere in there might be some kind of competition coming up.
Oh.
What?
Uh-oh. All right.
So I'm definitely excited about that.
I gotta break out my Joey Chestnut competitive eating.
There's another spot in this ship that we didn't find until almost the end of the cruise, and it was the cocktail bar. And I love that little spot. It's like this beautiful, in a world of mirrors and black lacquer. The cocktail bar was a beautiful green. It had some greenery. It was plastic, but it had some greenery on the ceiling.
There were mirrors too.
Oh, come on. There were mirrors. Yeah,
There's
but not
mirrors
really.
everywhere in that show.
But it just felt like the comfy, homey spot. And those bartenders back there were the sweetest guys, because we just basically said we just have the Easy Plus package, and they made us delicious drinks. And it's like a craft cocktail kind of bar.
Yeah, they had a great time, because they were like trying to outdo each other.
They were
kind of like dueling cocktail recipes.
Yeah, so. And they didn't get that busy, because nobody was
ever back there.
They were kind of tucked away in, I think, what they call the King's Court. And it's kind of like the little, like the dead end spot where you go into the restaurants. So you go into like the Ocean Cay seafood restaurant, you go into the teppanyaki.
Ocean Cay,
and the Butcher's Cut. I don't really know, but anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Ocean Cay was in the mall area on the Meraviglia.
So it's kind of like if you were having like a pre-cocktail dinner, you might go there. But overall, it was like this another little hidden gem that I want to spend more time at, because the bartenders, they want to work, they want to make you drinks, they want to have fun, and they were like bored. So when they were there, they were like doing all kinds of stuff for us. So
nobody goes to that bar,
right?
Like
it's not
said,
a destination for someone.
Unless you show up, early to your dinner reservation, or it's not quite ready, then people go to that bar. I think that's the only literally the only time people are there.
Well, remember,
because we would go back there and there would be like one person or like one couple, and then they would get up and walk into teppanyaki.
Yeah. Well, the most people that were there when we were going for our teppanyaki too. There's probably like 8 or 9 couples kind of sitting around waiting. And it's kind of like the waiting area. But I want to go back there and kind of experience some of their craft cocktails and kind of get to know them and have fun with that.
Yeah, craft cocktails are always the most fun. Yeah. In my book anyway. Because they hardly ever taste like alcohol.
I think the Seashore had one of the best arcades. Do you remember the Hall of Games?
Yes.
And they had so many fun little things. And so I'm looking forward to go back there. And another hint, we are going to somehow reenact we're not going to do our bar crawl 18 bars in 18 hours because that's a little too much for us at this time. But for somehow when we do our bar crawl, we're going to reenact that basketball game that I seem to win a lot. That's why I want to do it.
The old basketball game that was completely cheating.
No, it wasn't cheating.
Where you won 198 to 6.
Hey, I'm good at basketball.
Somehow, that was ridiculous. I don't understand what was going on in that game because I'm going to go back and watch the video and I'm going to count how many balls go into my net and how many balls go into your net.
You're not. That video was 2 years ago and you haven't done it. You're not going to do it now.
I'm pretty sure that was completely cheated. Anyway, yes, that arcade was a lot of fun. But the arcade was really fun. Yes. And it's big too.
It was very big.
I was surprised how big it was.
Yeah.
Just kind of went on and went around another corner over there some more.
And so we enjoy some of the arcade games that are on ships. So that was a really nice one.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Meraviglia being a very big one. And what was the last one we were on?
The Magnifica was, and it had like 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited.
It was so weird. Yeah. You walked in and went, is there some more like in a
did we miss it somewhere?
In a closet somewhere?
In the last place, I know that we may not like spend a lot of time, but I think that is a really neat spot on the Seashore is the casino. It is one of the largest casinos in the fleet at 12,000 square feet. Do you remember? It was like the casino and it had like the casino bar and then it had like this balcony where you could kind of see and they had the Statue of Liberty. It was just a really nice and open.
And that reminds me of a place that I would like to visit because it's right there.
What?
It literally is right there. It's the piano bar.
There's no piano bar on there.
Yes, there is. It's right there.
There wasn't a piano bar on there.
Yes, there's dueling pianos.
No.
Yes.
How could we miss that?
It's like when you go up and you go up those steps, do you remember that led up to the casino bar with the Statue of Liberty? If you keep going, there's the little Manhattan area.
Okay.
And then there's the piano bars are right there. The piano bar.
Did we see those at all?
We did. We didn't ever go to one though.
Why?
We didn't ever go to the dueling pianos. I don't know. I don't know.
I love dueling pianos.
Probably because I heard that there might be a steampunk Humpty Dumpty.
Oh, so we went to the shows every night?
He might be showing up somewhere else, and I was really hopeful.
Well, we'll have to do the dueling pianos. I honestly had no idea that was there.
Yeah, it's right in that little...
Okay. I mean, I believe you, but I just don't remember it.
Because that whole area is like themed like Manhattan-y.
Yeah.
And right behind the pianos.
And dueling pianos says Manhattan.
Sure. Right behind the pianos is like a big wall of like Times Square.
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
You know, somewhere in New York. I don't remember exactly if it was Times Square, but that would make sense that it would be Times Square. So right in there is the dueling pianos.
Cool. So, okay.
Yeah, I want to go
do that
because I remember we didn't go to it, and I was a little disappointed we didn't go to it last time. So I'm glad you brought up the casino because I could care less about the casino.
Yeah. I thought it was a really great space. It had that like round bar.
Other than
it was really neat.
Providing me a little place to take a nap. I don't remember much about the casino, but I do remember that the dueling pianos was really close to there. So,
okay. Next, I want to share something. I gotta find it first. Okay. So we're going to talk about choose your own adventure.
Oh.
So when we were talking about what we wanted to do, there's a couple stops that this ship makes. It stops in...
You're going to have to explain what you just said, because if anybody doesn't know, okay. All right.
So it's been a while since we've been in Cozumel and Costa Maya. So weren't really sure what we were going to do. So we came up with this idea. If you guys remember, Chris is going to have on the screen there, but the Choose Your Own Adventure books. So if you remember those when you were kids. The greatest
books in history.
Yeah. So you would read a page, and at the bottom it would give you options of what you wanted to do, and you would go to that page and then read.
Like when somebody asked me, when the conversation always comes up, people are like, well, how many books have you read in your life? For some reason, that's always
always a question.
I get into those literary.
What adult asked you that
I get into
questions?
Those literary circles, and they're like, that. How many books have you read in your life?
No one's ever asked you that.
I always answer every single time I'm asked that, hundreds of times.
Anyway, what are you trying to say?
I always answer, does that include the Choose Your Own Adventure books that I've read? Because then that would be, I would say 2. I've read 2 books in my life, unless you're including the Choose Your Own Adventure, and then it would be 402. Because I think I read every single one of those things.
They were really fun. So Chris and his talent, compiled a book cover. I don't know why I said that. A book cover of Chris and I. There's a shark and a mean man. Anyway, it's interesting. You can see it on our Facebook page.
Sharks shooting lasers for some reason.
And so this is what we posted. Now, this was to our family page, which is mostly for our Patreon. So we posted, in the style of everyone's favorite quest books from our youth, Choose Your Own Adventure, you get to decide our fate. We've designed the cover and written page 1 of our story in the comments below. Now it's time for you to let us know what you think we should do in our next step is in our adventure on page 2. Comment on what you would like us to see, and maybe we will do it. So I'm going to read you Chris's first comment. So if you don't know by now, he's very talented in writing. He wrote this really good.
Of the Choose Your Own Adventure.
Page 1. So the smell attracting us to the breakfast buffet is wafting through the seashore's halls. We have come to rest at a table near the window overlooking the ocean. The water breaks under the port where gigantic ocean liners bring people from all over the world to visit this magical place. Tucked away in our bag, we have a strong SPF sunblock designed to protect us from the intense Caribbean sun. We should be able to leave the seashore and explore this exotic area without fear of sunburn. We've donned our swimsuits that boast the number of our latest enhancements, enabling a variety of useful functions like quick dry fabric and drawstrings designed to keep them from sliding off. They even have built-in pockets designed perfectly for room key cards. We can now cut loose from the seashore. The world beyond the port awaits. We are now in another world. Remember, this is a fun world, an unknown world of activities. As we agreed before embarking on Seashore, we walk down the gangway and say to ourselves, all systems go. It's awesome out here. What do we do next? That was pretty cool.
Turn to page 16 if you choose.
All right. So I'm going to read this next one. This is a bummer because we're not going to go to this port, but we're going to keep this for the next cruise when we are at this port. So one of our favorites, Mark Levine, commented, you could be in Nassau, which is funny because this is the first cruise, in how long, which we're not stopping at Nassau. Ever. We're always in Nassau.
Seems like every single cruise we're in Nassau.
So when I was reading this, I'm like, oh, and then I looked, I'm like, oh, shoot, we're not at Nassau. Anyway, you could be in Nassau, in which case you hail a local cab and ask them to take you to the best local place for conch fritters. After your gastronomical adventure, head back to Ocean Atlas for some underwater sculpture exploration. Or you could be in Puerto Plata, in which case maybe you'll head over to the Amber Museum. Maybe you'll have Casab for lunch, or perhaps you'll visit El Choco for some cave swimming. However, regardless, somewhere you'll leave behind buried treasure. Wasn't that a cool one?
That's awesome.
I know. So next time we go to those two places, we'll definitely have to do that. And yes, we like leaving buried treasure. All right, on to the next. Jack Hill commented, he said, page 2. Number 1, I love how when they responded in the Choose Your Own Adventure style, like the way they wrote everything. So Jack Hill commented, page 2, Costa Maya offers many adventures, but the secrets of the Mayan ruins is most intriguing to the Triple T travelers. The pyramids and jungle are daunting to most, but to our seasoned, experienced explorers are up for the task. I love it. I absolutely love this. I did not expect this.
These are great.
So we're going to try to do that as long as I can hold up, because the Mayan ruins in June are a little hot, but we're going to try that. And then this was our last one that I wanted to share. This was from Rachel Rake. You are going to a day club in Cozumel, one of the ones where they have what appears to be playgrounds in the ocean. I think Mr. Sancho's. You will try as many cocktails as possible, and you will play on the ocean toys. Hopefully these are not just for kids. I've never been there. Either way, it will be an adventure. How cool is that? How many times have we been to Cozumel?
We need to... Golly, that's getting up there with Nassau. Yeah, we've never done one of the day clubs. So yeah, like we already have our tickets to Mr. Sancho's. So we're doing it. Right on. We're doing it. I'm so excited about that. Yeah. I know, because I hear other people talk about Mr. Sancho's. We've never been to Mr. Sancho's. Our friends at Traveling Gilbert's, I think, have gone a couple times, and I remember they had a video of them sitting out on the by the beach eating their coconut shrimp and drinking their drinks, and it looked really like a really amazing day. So I'm looking forward to that. So we might do more of these in the future, but we love when you guys can help us plan some of these. So, we're, on a lot. We go to a lot of these destinations, and we try to do as much fun as we can. So sometimes we try to reach out to you guys and see what sounds fun. I love that. I think we need to publish our very own Choose Your Own Adventure book. Oh, how would we do that? If they didn't sue our pants off. Yeah. For using their idea, their original idea, I would, because I just get people to write these pages. These are awesome. Get people to write different ones. Yeah, I love that. So that kind of is going to help us decide on some of the things we're going to do on the seashore. So what time are we at? Is it about time to wrap up? Almost 38 minutes. Okay, we're wrapping up here. So we will share any information that we have about the Ocean K updates, but most likely we will wait to do a lot of that until we're actually on, and we'll be able to show you some videos of that. So I don't think it's like overwhelming the amount that they did. So I don't know what it sounds like. We'll see. Yeah. I have no idea what it is. And who knows if they've just started some stuff, what'll be completed, in the next month. They might complete more stuff. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And the first time ever, we have booked an excursion at Ocean K because we're there 2 days. Why not? And I'm really hoping that they do the nighttime party. Oh, I'm sure they'll do the nighttime party. So we're there from 7 a.m. till 4 p.m. the next day. So I'm sure they'll do a night party. And we will be there maybe this time, dancing away. Maybe this time we'll get, quote, lost at night and have to spend the night on the island. I wonder what happens if we went and hid somewhere and they couldn't find us. What would happen? I don't know if we're brave enough to do that. I think what would really happen is they would just get really angry at us. Ban us from ever cruising MSC again.
It would be horrible.
Be very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
We just make all the crew members mad because they have to spend the evening walking around the island looking for us. Seemed like a good idea, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, no.
All right.
So anyway, obviously we are really looking forward to this. We have, I think coming up soon, we have a really fun podcast. I don't know if many of you know what Reddit is, but we're going to go through. There are some of the craziest things ever on Reddit, and we're going to bring you some of those funny ones. So
there's some weird comments on Reddit for sure.
So weird.
Like it just brings out the weirdness of people. That's why I love it. That's why I love Reddit. It's
more so than Facebook.
Oh,
you get so many more weirdos on Reddit. So,
God bless us weirdos.
Yes.
I love it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to do another one of these. So thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye everybody.